Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Friday evening live stream. We got a lot of things to go over, so let's just jump right into it. So today, just like the thumbnail and title suggest, I feeling pretty bearish with a splash of bullishness, and there's a couple of reasons why. I think we should go over that because we need to temper our expectations about what's happening right now. Now, everything I talk about, things could change the drop of a dime. We can get some magnificent news that the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve is back on, and the world currency now has been dropped from the dollar to Bitcoin and Ethereum, and everything's going to be great. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So let's take a look at this. First of all, I must say, the ETFs have surprised me to the upside. I'm very happy with the inflows. And we can see that this might be one of the few weeks, recently, that we've seen nothing but positive flows for the ETFs. And we've had some monstrous runs here. 12th of January, 116 million, and then 13th of January, 753, 840 for Wednesday, Thursday, 100, and we're waiting for the final numbers for today, which looks like they could be quite positive. And that, of course, is just Bitcoin. We take a look at Ethereum. I haven't taken a look at this one yet. Ethereum, same thing. Wow, look at that. Nice little inflows, little moderate, 5 million on Monday, 130, 175, 164. This is pretty good for Ethereum. And then let's take a look at Solana and its ETF. It's usually pretty good. And yes, wow, nothing but inflows. So congratulations, Solana holders, doing quite well. These are the things I like to see. These are the things that give me the hopium that I need to move forward. But in all honesty, bear markets are bear markets. They're a part of the cycle. It's not a big deal. I think if you've been around here for as long as I have, which I know most of you have been, this is really nothing new. And we can take a look at it over the last 24 hours. Things are looking pretty good for Bitcoin, quite honestly. I mean, it's held above 95K. I did not think that could happen, and now here we are. Over 7 days, look at this. We went from roughly 90 forever, and then we pumped up all the way almost to 98K. So looking pretty good. On the monthly, again, very short, whatnot. But over 3 months, this is where we had this beautiful reduction in price action. And we fell from, roughly 125 back here, all the way down to 82,000. And when I take a look at this over the last 3 months in 2025, this really does remind me of the last cycle. This is the last roughly 3 months. And I'm going back here to October 18th, 2025. Here I'm going from October 14th, 2021. And just the same thing, like we had a little peak right here in November, and then we slide down, a little sideways action, then with a little bit of a rally, roughly in January. And it comes back up, and then it starts to go down. And of course, we remember what happened this is back from 2021 to 2022, and then you get that. So I'm not saying that's exactly what's going to happen, but it's just amazing to me how things kind of repeat themselves, and off we go. And if we really take a look at it as far as like for moving averages, this is what you want to see. If you're looking to accumulate, you're wanting to see the price action go below this 200-week moving average. And if we can get it below there, which I think we will at some point, this is the time to really be buying up. And once we go past 200 weeks, the simple moving average, that'd be the time that I'm going to really keep accumulating. Now, having said all this, I know most of you know what I'm going to say. I am short-term bearish, but I continue to buy Bitcoin every single day. I will not make the same mistake I made in 2022 and do some micro DCAing. I'm going all in, and I'm picking up the pace as the risk factors go down. And I'm actually increasing my buys. Now, since Bitcoin has gone up, I haven't really increased my buys, just the same thing. But if we ever go below 200 moving average, look at these prices, beautiful. 19,000, 23,000, 20. Wouldn't you like to accumulate back then like that? And that's high. I remember when I bought Bitcoin at 8,500, and then it went all the way up to 20,000. I was a genius, and then it crashed down to 5. I'm like, this is horrible. Now looking back at it, I'm like, that was the best time of all time. And then, of course, here we go. So if we take a look at this, and going back to October back here, like we just took a look at in 2021, I think the closest we would come to that would be like the 20-week moving average, somewhere around here. And if we take a look at where we're at today, let's zoom in even more. We're not too far away from the 20-week. 101,000. We're at 95. We're almost at 98. So we almost hit that. But to get all the way down to like the 200-week moving average, we have to drop to 57,000. I do think at some point we could see a 60K reduction, but we'll see what happens. And the reason why I talk about this, about the bearishness, is quite simple. Back in 2018, back in 2022, 2023, you would see a lot of this happening, and now it's repeating again. Layoffs. Polygon is going to trim the workforce amid a 250 million stablecoin payments pivot. First of all, I'm here to applaud Polygon for making the difficult decisions to do these things. This is what every responsible business must do if they want to survive. They have to trim out their workers. Unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast, and this is why they did it. Polygon Labs cut personnel. It pivots more aggressively to a payments-first strategy built around stablecoin rails. It's pretty smart. I mean, we've talked enough about stablecoin rails here and the best rails to get into. And when it calls an open money stack, a new vertically integrated set of services designed to move money on chain. Layoffs came just days after announcing a deal worth as much as $250 million to acquire U.S. crypto ATM and payments company CoinMe. I didn't know CoinMe had crypto ATMs. That's great. And developer platform Sequence. So they had full acquisition of these other companies, and because of that money that they had to use, they have to lay off the people. Sucks for the people. Specifically, 30% of their staff just got laid off, but they have to grow and they have to do these things. On top of that, Mantra is doing the same thing. Mantra is also restructuring. So again, when I see these layoffs, I'm like, this is the same thing that happened last time. You know, you have a crappy market it's pretty much moving sideways. Alts getting crushed, Bitcoin barely holding up, and then probably dropping down again, and alts will drop even harder. So they got to lay off individuals. Here we go. Mantra restructures after OM token collapses in a rough year. This is, it says Manta. I think it's Mantra, isn't it? Yeah, little typo. On Wednesday, Mantra CEO John Patrick Mullen announced the company would transition to a leaner and more capital-efficient structure following a period of expansion. Changes include job cuts across multiple teams and a streamlining of operations to better match near-term market conditions. And oh yeah, it's really bad because look at this. The OM token reached an all-time high of almost $9 on February 23rd, 2025, before collapsing sharply to 59 cents by April 15th. Oh my God, this looks like the US dollar to Riyadh currency in Iran. This is awful. Anyhow, that's what's pretty much going on. And then in the background, who's really accumulating? Because if we take a look at Bitcoin wallets, this is from Bitcoin Magazine Pro, you can see that the amount of balance that for just 0.01 Bitcoin has leveled, and this is anything greater than 0.01 Bitcoin. And you can see that since January 25th, 2024, it's been pretty stagnant across the board. And so people would say, well, that's just ETFs, Rob, because everybody's getting the ETFs. Okay, hold on. So how about a balance of more than 0.1? Well, we had a nice little rally up here, and then it kind of got stagnant. When? Yeah, January 30th, 2024. When was the Bitcoin ETF came out? January 2024. So, okay, got me on that one. How about one Bitcoin? Same thing. It just plateaus around January, look at that, 2024. It actually decreases going into 2026. And then we have 10 Bitcoin. It's just flat, so not too bad. And you'll notice that as you get a little bit higher, things start to not increase and not flat, but kind of decrease. So we can see here, that's what's happening with the greater than 10. The only one that bucks that trend is when we go to 100 Bitcoin or more, which means these people, these whales, are accumulating. And they don't care what the price is. And you can see how things move. 10 Bitcoin, sell off. Same thing over here. 1 Bitcoin, sell off or flat. 0.1, sell off or flat. 0.01, sell off or flat. But if you get 100 Bitcoin, this is what you do from October. When did they start accumulating? Oh, right here. July 2024. And then it just went up. December 16th, 2024. And then 2025. And they took some profits right around October, as they should have. And then what are they doing again? Accumulating more. And now, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, we're at an all-time high of wallets that hold 100 Bitcoin or more, 19,000, almost 20,000 wallets. And you know why? Because they're buying everything that these guys, and these guys are doing. But what about 1,000 Bitcoin? Flat. And then 10,000 Bitcoin, well, there's only like 90 of those. And of course, that fluctuates from wallets of 86 or 87 to 92, back down to 86 or 87. It's not so big. So I still think that some people are getting into ETFs. It's true, but the other ones are just doing the old style. Anyhow, let me know what you think about that in the comments section. And really, it comes down to this. How low can we go? And if we look at the past, all-time high to all-time low, from 2013 to 2015, we dropped 86%. We had a high of $1,000 roughly, $1,200, and then it went to $172, so it's 86% drop. Then in 2017 to 2018, it dropped 85%, from 20,000 to 3,000. 2021, it dropped from 67 to 15. That was a 77% drop. So we got 86, 85, 77. And this one was different because people are saying that October 6th wasn't the top. But if it was, that was not as volatile as the other ones have been, and definitely not the ROI, and definitely not the excitement that before. So maybe instead of having like a, I don't know, a 70% drop off, we could still have a 50% drop off, which would put us around, what, 61,000, somewhere around there. So I could see anything between 55 and 60,000, and that would put us right around the 200-week moving average, around $57,000. And if it gets that way, I'll buy like crazy. Anyhow, let me know what you think about that. And then lastly, before we get out of here, Clarity Act. This is another reason why I'm pretty bearish. Is that we thought of this ad nauseum yesterday on NFA, but there's a problem with it. And we thought it was going to be awesome, but I don't think it is. There's a ban on stablecoin yield. DeFi regulations, essentially, they're going to turn your DeFi platform into a KYC AML neo bank. That's what they're going to do. They're going to ban equities, tokenization of those, of stocks, and they're going to expand the SEC authority. That's not great. And the reason why number one is happening, the ban on stablecoin, is because the banks don't want it. Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan warns interest-bearing stablecoins could pull as much as $6 trillion from the U.S. banks, reducing lending capacity and pushing borrowing costs higher. My question is this: why do I need you guys? If I want to get a loan, why wouldn't I just do that against stablecoins? And especially if it's USDC and Tether, they're doing things and they're backed by treasuries and one-to-one to the US dollar. Why do I need a bank? I'll just go to them. And that $6 trillion can go to them, and the banks can get blockbustered. I don't hate banks. I know some people hate them. They're just trying to do their job and trying to find their place in the world. Okay, it's not that great, but you get the point. I don't care who is the winner here, but whoever it is, I'm just going to side with them. And I don't think it's going to be the bank. I think the banks will get blockbustered and will move forward beyond them because they had their chance and they didn't pick up the mantle for adoption and for advancement. And this is what they get. Look at every other company that did the same thing. You think taxi services would have liked to bought into Uber? Probably so. Do you think Yahoo would have liked to buy Google? Yeah, I think. And then, of course, do you think maybe Blockbuster could have bought a little Netflix? Yeah, but they screwed up. And I think the banks are doing the same thing. And this is, I never thought I'd have to say this, but Brian Armstrong doing great things. And he's actually the hero that we didn't know we needed. Take a listen to what he says here. I have to totally agree with him.
Got the Genius Act passed into law, which actually did enable stablecoin rewards to happen. The banks had their own concerns, and we reached a good outcome in the Genius Act. And now the banks really are coming and trying to undermine the president's crypto agenda. I mean, these are the same banks that debanked him and his family, right? And They want to come in and say that Americans should not be able to actually earn more money on their money. They're trying to protect their own profit margins, taking money out of the pockets of hardworking average Americans and putting it into the coffers of these big banks that are hitting record profits. And so our view is that there should be a level playing field where banks and crypto companies can lean into stablecoin legislation as an opportunity. And that includes paying rewards to Americans so that they can earn more money on their money.
I just don't get why. I understand why the banks don't want it. I just don't understand why legislation would actually try to pass that and go, yeah, we're just going to screw over the everybody who's going to actually hold these stable coins. I'm just kidding. Yeah, of course I get it. And if you take a look at who's on the U.S. Senate Banking Committee, which is responsible for getting this bill over the hump, Tim Scott's doing a fine job as Republican, doing great. But you know who is the senior leader for that senator for the U.S. Banking Committee? It is none other than our friend Elizabeth Warren. So if you think she is really hot to trot about getting this passed too, no. And me personally, I don't think it's ever going to pass. Anyhow, let me know what you think about that. And then lastly, some good news. Actually, no, this is not good news. I'm sorry. There's one more bad news thing. House Democrats slammed the SEC for dropping crypto case with Trump ties. This is right in line with the midterms. And unfortunately, the Democrats are not all of them, but there's a good portion that just hate crypto, probably because the Trump administration picked up the mantle and they don't like that. And they want to defeat everything that is in legislation that has to do with Trump. So expect everything crypto-wise in legislation to get shot down. In a letter on Thursday, lawmakers accused the SEC of enabling a pay-to-play dynamic after dropping cases against Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, and Justin's son. That's awful. Representative Maxine Waters, Sean Cassidy, and Brad Sherman said that the agency abruptly dismissed at least a dozen crypto-related enforcement cases since early 2025, including action against these people. So they're all hot to trot. Let's see how that works out. And you know what? I didn't want to go over this, but I will. It's a good story. Iranian, or the things that are going on in Iran are atrocious. This is not a geopolitical channel, but they're awful. I'm glad to see that even though that the Iranian rial is collapsing, that has collapsed as a currency, as all fiat currencies do. I'm glad to see that there's a little bit of a recourse, things that are happening. Iranians are withdrawing record high as the rial collapses to 1.5 million per dollar, and they're withdrawing Bitcoin. I found this interesting because I thought that they jammed all of the internet service across the entire country. So I don't know. I have my thoughts on how they are doing it. Really what it comes down to this is they're either using BitChat Mesh, which is from Jack Dorsey, which you don't even need telecommunication prowess to do anything. It's just, it uses like Bluetooth technology. So when you're close to somebody, you can use like lightning payments and things like that. And you can do encrypted messages. Kind of gets around the whole thing, right? It's like a mesh network of Bluetooth. But for them to transfer Bitcoin around, they could use this. But to get out of the exchange, the only way that I could think that they're actually doing this is they're getting Starlink. Specific people are getting it sent to them. They're using that. They're putting their money into Bitcoin in some way, shape, or form, or they're withdrawing it onto their wallet on their phones, and they're able to not have everything collapse around them like you can see right here. But there's a double-edged sword in this one. I should have just shut my mouth in that last piece, but crypto's a double-edged sword. Chainalysis address an issue which is linked to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC. They are accounting for over 50% of all crypto value received in the fourth quarter of 2025. These IRGC addresses handle more than $2 billion on-chain, bringing the total to $3 billion. And this is actual data from TRM Labs, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. You can see right here, this is on-chain data, and they are moving that much Bitcoin around into and getting around sanctions and everything else. Most activity conducted in USDT on the Tron network. Wow, shouldn't have left with that one. But that's it for today. So look, if you like today's video, I don't know why you would, because it was very depressing. You can get thumbs up, subscribe, all that great stuff. But now let's go over a little Q&A. I'll answer your questions to the best of my abilities, and we'll go from there. And that was That was a tough one. Let's see. What do we got? Let's see. Let's see. I'm not sure we need the Clarity Act if they're just going to take over crypto, the big banks anyway. It's a good question. I don't even know. I mean, it's great for TradFi to be able to get in and say, okay, well, now we know what we can do and what we can't do. Now we know what's a security. Now we know what's a commodity. Now we know what we can do with stablecoins and what we can't. We know the SEC is going to be over this specific sector and what the OCC and what the other agencies are going to do. So it's just good for clarity, to put it mildly, and it kind of helps us with adoption. The problem is that the people at the top make those rules, and sometimes they don't look for the middle guy. And the little guy is us, and we're about to get stamped out. Okay. Jimmy says smash the likes. Rob is putting the effort. I try. And Jupiter Mojo says they must be actively moving those Starlink nodes so that they aren't found and triangulated and end up unalived by the regime. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, they are scum. Let's see. Terhufti says, it's hilarious how folks still listen to Dorsey. Dude allowed his platform to use as a tyrannical dumpster fire. Yeah. Cool says crypto is done. It's over. This is the good times. When we get more capitulation like that, this is good news. Friend of the show, we were talking yesterday, and he's like, I got a friend coming into town, and he invests into these like either smaller businesses or businesses like mid cap tier, and they always talk about the different businesses that they're investing into. And he was doing this one business for years and years and years, and then he goes, just like the last month or so, this friend of his says, you know what, this isn't going anywhere. It's been 5 years, nothing's going to happen. It's just been going up and down and sideways. Now we're really down. He goes, I'm just done. I'm selling everything. And he said, oh yeah. And he went and he bought a boatload of the stock, because he says, the only thing I really like to do is look at people who have capitulated, and I want to see a massive amount of those. And that's when all the value is there, because no one wants to do it. I was like, that's pretty much it. Let's see. Ashley says, effing bank are the biggest crooks out there. Not all banks are bad. There's some credit unions that are pretty good. And the people that work in banks aren't bad people. It's just the precedents and the operating procedures that they do. That sucks. Lone Wolf's got a smart one. Multiple limit orders down to 69K, but still DCing rows. It's very good. And Plato brought this up. I got to watch this. Rob, did you watch the What Bitcoin interview did, Michael Saylor interview, which got heated between Danny and Saylor? Saylor was insulted by the question at one point. You know, I bet you Michael Saylor is probably under a lot of stress, just like we all are, right? But I mean, there's all types of stress. We don't know what kind of wars everybody's going through, behind the scenes. So I bet you, I'm just going to make a bet, not like a crazy poly market bet, but like a bet that if Bitcoin is an all-time high and the shares of MicroStrategy were up 2 or 3x and everything was going great, I bet you that question would not have fazed Michael Saylor. Now that there's problems with MicroStrategy and the stock itself, which some people might say this is a good opportunity to buy. And of course, what's happening with Bitcoin, maybe there's a lot of pressure from every place, and then you got to lash out sometimes. Let's see. Reality goes both ways. That's true. Jupiter Mojo, have you compared the last bear with the current time frame to see if YouTube views have reached some bottom level yet? No, but I saw this one from Ben where he put out just the amount of views that between like the last bull run and this bull run, and it was paltry at best. It's a good question. Let's take a look. Let's go steal a bunch of information from Ben's website And if you'd like to see Ben's website and use it, you can sign up for free. I mean, there's some free parts of it, which is pretty cool. But if you want to get like, actually get in there, I got a code for you, 10% off the first month. I'm telling you, it's great. And I've been looking at this. I mean, before we get into the other thing, I've been trying to get this Bitcoin super trend. Check this out. Let's see, 12 and 4. Because it does a pretty good job of kind of topping up things and like seeing like, it's kind of like good indicators. I got to talk about this more. Anyhow, I use this one a lot, and I use the risk levels, which I was really waiting for this to go below 0.4, which would have been 87.
Got the Genius Act passed into law, which actually did enable stablecoin rewards to happen.
Sorry about that. That was Brian Armstrong talking again. Hold on, let me get out of here. Okay. Back to you. And I used that one, but what Jupiter was talking about was views. Let's see if I can find it. YouTube views. So this is like a good portion of crypto YouTubers. There's you got Aaron Bennett, Bankless, Chris Dunn, Crypto Capital Venture, Data Dash, Invest Answers, Jimmy Son, whole bunch of people. And you're going to see like the peak of all views was in 27 May of 2021. Look at that. Big boy crypto per day was getting 644,000 views. What happened to Ben? And wow, Cryptos R Us at 418,000. Coin Bureau at only 417. Ben got 328. Altcoin Daily 261,000 per day. Wow. Oh, look at me. I used to get 56,000 a day. That doesn't happen anymore. Anyhow, but yeah, those are good times. And then, so to answer the question, the lowest point for the bear market was roughly, for price action, anywhere between, I'd say, like August and November. That was when we had like the worst times. So I'd say like on this one, take a look at this. Let's reset this. It's not right. I'd say like right around, October, and then November. Actually, November 2022 was when everything was crashing like crazy, and people tuned in a lot, actually, to check out what was going on. Oh, man, look at that. I actually got like 37,000 views those days. Crypto Wendy O, 47,000. Alex Becker, what the hell happened to that guy? 51,000. Invest Answer got 63. Coin Bureau Clips got 85,000. But actually, when the market tanks, the views for YouTube goes up. But when it's boring as hell and nothing's happening, it goes way down. So I would say like, let's just take this time frame. 21st of October 2022. This is pretty low. 140,000, 125,000. Cryptos R Us, 89,000. Now let's take this and take a look at what that is today. It's not even close. So the one that gets the most every day, Altcoin Daily. Good for those guys. Ben's second, 62,000. James getting a lot, 56,000. Yeah, I'm still up in like the top 10. I'll be damned. Coin Bureau, 41,000. What the hell happened there? BitBoy gets 25,000. Oh, that's the original channel. MN Crypto, good guy, 20,000. Coin Bureau Clip, 16. Elio Trades, 15. Banter gets 14,000 views a day. Interesting. And Digital asset news, about 15,000, Pizino 12,000. So yeah, this is like a third of what we used to get. That's okay. So to answer your question, which was a long answer, not as many views as we used to get. That's okay. Because I'll be honest with you, like when we get into when it gets really heated, I've said this before, when it gets really heated and we have to go and explain all these things, we have a bunch of new people. It's good to have them because that's the lifeblood of every market. We need new people to come in. We need them to buy so we can dump on them. Just kidding. And maybe. And no, I'm just kidding. And when they're here, we're to educate, dollar cost average, be responsible, take profits. Everything's a scam, but it's the most ridiculous questions you can get. And I guess that's just par for the course. So yeah. Is this crypto news just raw reminiscing? It is raw reminiscing. I got a little nostalgic there for a second. All right. That's true. It's big mega bull run now. Let's so. Let's see. What else we got? A1 Rising says BitBoy was what was popular. Just a crypto shill, but he did show other channels. I still follow today. I like Dan and Crypto Lifer. I hope Ben finds whatever he's looking for. Hopefully everything works out for him and his family. Random annoys the crap out of me. So are you. I get you. James is great. James is a good guy. I know some people hate his guts. Some people hate my guts. It's okay. You're going to get all types of people. Just how it is. 95% on Twitter, I think we still have a bull market. You know what? So far, everybody's been wrong, right? I didn't call the top. I mean, I say take profits, but did I do as good of a job as I could have? No. And I'm trying to shore that up. I'm trying to fix that gap. I can tell you to take profits, but I want to be more aggressive with that moving forward. So I'm working with Ivan for that. We'll see how that works out. And yeah, there's some people on Twitter will say like, this is going to happen. We're going to have a super cycle, and it's all about the business cycle, the ISM. And once we get that, and we get some rate cuts, and we increase the liquidity, then everything's off to the moon. And I'm like, how much liquidity do we need? We're at an all-time high for global and the United States M2 money supply. How many rate cuts do we need? Back down to zero? I mean, maybe. And the ISM, no, it's not at 58 or 59 or 60 like it was before, but we're in the expansion stage on one part of it because there's two types of ISM as far as the business cycle. So there's retail and there's other services. So I just look at that and I'm like, how much more do we possibly need? I don't know. And I think it really comes down to, again, like I said before, it really comes down to speculation and momentum, right? Nothing changed with gold. It's just that more people started to buy gold. More of the central banks started to buy gold. More nation states started to buy gold, and people are like, I need to buy gold. The narrative switched a little bit. So, of course, the momentum increases and speculation increases. And we lost our momentum and speculatory assets on October 10th. And then everything kind of plummeted from there. Oh, hey, look at that. Ivan Tech alumni doing good things. I found out about digital news and like Rob, he told it how he sees it, even though he was wrong when he was called himself out, which is true. There's a good video. I thought it was a pretty interesting video. It's in the crypto critical videos in the description of every video I do. And it's just called All the Price Predictions Were Wrong. And I took a look at 2021 and 2025. Everybody was wrong. And then, I talk all these prominent names, and I said, and there's this last guy who really made a mistake. And his name is Rob Wolf. And that was me. And, you have to raise your hand when you screw up. That's it. I enjoy the Retire On series from James. Those are good. Just in time to say thanks, Rob, hit the like. Meme's a busy person. What can we do? I agree. When people make their mistakes, it's adorable. As long as you don't do it every day. I was wrong. I'm wrong a lot. Ask my wife, she'll tell you. And we always need more. I'm going to leave it to this. My price predictions are always right. I'm just the RW method as well. You know what? My price predictions have evolved, and I'll give you guys a price prediction right now. Bitcoin, by the end of 2026, will be somewhere between $5 and $500,000. And the reason why I say that range, watch that video on why everybody's wrong. That's it for today. Look, if you like today's video, thumbs up, subscribe, all that great stuff. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Everybody get outside. See you guys in the next one. Before I say adios, Plato, thanks for the super sticker. 99 cents is going to go a long way in Puerto Rico. Thank you.